So welcome. This is an episode of Spinners, and Spinners is a podcast that's going to deal with music. And I have here today with me a friend of mine, John Stroop, aka Brother John. He was a DJ in Germany as well as over here in the United States for quite a while. And then myself, James Russell. I've been a DJ for probably over 40 years. And I just want to touch in on how I feel that music has changed. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the late 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, about a 25-year period. And then from there, you have about a 25-year period to present day, okay? And I'm going to rate the late 70s, the 80s, and all the way through the 90s as a 10 when it comes to music. And then we're going to say from the 2000s to current day, what would you rate that as in music today, John?
Well, music today is just, it's a complete toss-up. First of all, the artists have such a medium to put out their material that how does somebody even access this material? Unless you're connected to the internet, unless you're connected to
Streaming
services, and even paying attention to what the press market for the charts is. Everything is so instant.
Yeah. Okay, so let's focus in on lyrics first. You know, when I listened to those music in the 80s and the 90s and stuff, the lyrics had such meaning, and they were never what I considered to be disrespectful. But today's lyrics, I think, are totally different from that.
Yes, definitely, no doubt about that. Back in the 70s and the 80s, when music was really coming out of the certain ages that we would say the start of R&B, where R&B really, the artists came up and came out of Motown and other areas of the country where music had something of substance. Even in the rap genres, when Rapper's Delight came out and everything came out of New York and elsewhere, where the rappers had a story to tell. You know, Flash. You know,
Yeah, Grandmaster
Flash.
Yeah, it was basically street poetry.
It was.
But it always had a message.
It was.
And today's genre is about how much money you got. It degrades women as well as they degrade themselves. I don't get the attraction.
No, and then the language outside of everything is just, it's like you say, degrading, totally out of any context of respect towards humanity in itself. You know, like you say, degrading women for sure. It's just putting out an image of money. What you have is what makes you, not what you are, not who you are within yourself. It totally devalues the human person when you're talking about all that.
And then I think 80% of today's music is theft of what happened in that era. You know, everybody's taking a portion of somebody else's song and changing it just a little bit, and they're making, you know, millions off of it. And I don't get it. Because I can pick out something old in every new song, you know, that they've stolen material from.
That's the sampling effect. You know, James Brown, one of the heaviest sampled artists for sure. Even Lou Reed was sampled by Questlove did that.
Questlove.
And you know, just various artists are all the originality comes from back in the day.
Yeah.
There's no originality today. Nobody has their own identity that they're placing on the music.
And I want to even get off of the music part of it and just go to pure talent. Can anybody sing anymore? Because everybody is auto-tuned, space-tuned, meta-tuned. You know, I have equipment in this studio that can make me sound like I can sing. And without it, I can't carry a note. I wish I could sing because I'd be obnoxious if I could sing because I would love to be able to do that. But nowadays, you don't even have to be able to sing.
No, definitely not. I mean, you look at the artists that are out there singing or portraying themselves as singers. Do you know what's actually coming out of the sound system?
Who can really sing? Name me 3 artists right now, let's say R&B, that you believe that can really sing.
Well,
Tough.
I'm not really high on Beyonce because I think she was not the greatest artist that was in her group.
Mm-hmm.
The artists that actually can sing, Alicia Keys, she can sing. The late Whitney, I mean, she set a standard that.
But Whitney's going back to that era that I gave it to.
Exactly.
I'm talking about, let's
today.
go. Yeah, let's go today, and for me, I really struggle with finding somebody that I consider that can really sing. I really have a struggle.
That's true. That's very true because they rely on too much of the side light. If an artist is on stage singing and performing, what do they usually have? And it's not in a negative way. They'll have rappers performing on stage with them. Well, not every rapper can carry a rap.
Right.
And unfortunately, if they blend voice singing with rapping, doesn't always come across as being a viable craft.
Yeah. One of the few people that I would consider that still has talent and can sing is Bruno Mars. But Bruno Mars can play 4 or 5 instruments.
Yes.
Bruno Mars can actually really sing.
Yes.
And then he got connected with a real band. But everything in today's world is artificial. Your beats are made artificially. You're stealing everything from a previous artist, and it's even gotten so bad that everybody wants to be a beat maker now. Well, now it's gotten to the point where you don't even have to be a good beat maker. All you got to do is type your lyrics into a computer and AI will make your beat for you. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that?
That's unbelievable. That is totally unbelievable. You've taken away all the feeling that goes into a song, and it's creating something artificial. And people are expected to receive that information as being something good that they can attach themselves to.
And I think you hit the nail right on the head. To me, everything is artificial. I remember when I first started DJing, I was using albums and all of those sort of things, and then I lost my mind when CDs came out. I said, well, man, this is nice because I can carry half of my collection with me, as opposed to when you had albums, man, you were lugging them big old heavy crates and you had to decide who you were playing for, what type of crowd you were playing for, because you're only going to take a couple of crates, and those crates were heavy.
Yes, no doubt.
Do you remember them days?
Oh, definitely,
the Tech 12 turntables.
Oh, yes.
But it was all hands on.
Yes.
And you had to have a plan to be successful.
Yes. And of course, my time in Germany working in the military clubs, I was introduced to a lot of feeling from the crowd, because I learned one thing major over there. first people you play to are the women.
Absolutely.
The ladies, you take care of the ladies, the men will be there.
If the ladies are happy, everybody's happy.
As they say, the dogs will show, you know. But anyway, if the ladies like what you're doing, you're going to have a successful night because they came to dance. A lot of German ladies, Americans, whatever, they came into the club to have a good time. Some of the management of the clubs were important too because they took it upon themselves to make sure that their crowd performed, make sure they looked right.
Right.
You could not walk up to the door of a club wearing your hat sideways, wearing a jumpsuit, and being with your crew, so to speak, and not dressed adult and expect to get into the club because the manager will send you away, say, go get dressed.
My manager used to always tell me, she's like, James, I just love you. I said, really? She says, yeah, because you always have a feel that right before the crowd's about to go crazy or get out of hand, you always slow it down and start playing slow music. I said, yeah, I can tell that things are getting kind of out of hand. So you got to change how you're playing the music to calm them down for a little while. You know, and she says, yeah, I see that all the time. And you know, that's what I love about the way you play. And I said, well, you know, music does tame the savage beast. You have to read your crowd. And as a DJ, you got to play what the crowd likes, not what you want to like, you know, not what you like. And that's the other thing that I separate our era from the era now. You have DJs that are at home practicing their mix all week long, okay? They may play 20 different songs in a span of 3 or 4 minutes because that's the mix that they have prepared for everybody. It doesn't matter what somebody wants to hear. It doesn't matter that maybe you're cutting off the part of the song that I want to hear because you're all into your mix.
Definitely, no doubt about it. The way the computers work these days, or everything's on a computer, you tell the computer what songs you want to combine, and it does it for you. And it comes up with a brilliant beat-to-beat mix for people to dance to, but you're eliminating the heart of the song that you're wanting to play. And that's what back in the day, starting out of a slow set, kick off with Electric Slide in this one club, and half hour, 45 minutes later, because I mixed beat to beat, different songs and everything, people are still sliding.
Yeah,
it's amazing. But it's part of the ambiance of the crowd, the whole heart of the situation where you're taking care of what people want to do, what they came to the club to do, is to have a good time.
And I think you kind of hit another thing on the head is that music today is what people use to express themselves. It's not something I want to create or for somebody else to enjoy. It's about me, and you need to figure out how to enjoy it. You know, it's really that selfish.
Yeah, it is selfish, very selfish, and it's terrible. It's back in the day, of course, in Germany, besides playing in the clubs and being around the military and even the German crowds that I played to as well, everybody toured Germany. I saw concerts live in Germany. Earth, Wind & Fire, Stevie Wonder, Bruce Springsteen, Prince, Luther Vandross, Patti LaBelle. Everybody toured. The Commodores came. Their opening act was The Emotions. I mean, what do you make negative about that? It's totally positive. You have Al Jarreau, you have Van Morrison and Jeffrey Osborne. One jazz night started out with the late, great Oscar Peterson, followed by Count Basie and his band, and closing out the night was Ray Charles.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're talking about some. I would equate it to something really as simple as this. Let's just say that the band, for whatever reason, got pissed off, and they said, "Well, we're tired. We're not playing anymore." There, people in that era could continue the show a cappella and make everybody happy. Name me one person in today's music that could do that.
Nobody. Nobody.
There's nobody, is there?
Very rare, if possible. It's just we don't know those artists. They haven't been put in that situation where they have to stand on stage and entertain a crowd with their ability, because they're always backed by technology.
And it's not just one genre. I mean, everything has gotten worse. Country has gotten worse. Rock has gotten worse. R&B, rap, hip hop. It's all gotten worse. And you know what? You can't just blame it on the artists, because let's take a deep look at the music industry itself. Aren't they truly the ones responsible for what gets put out?
Sure. The music industry has been, for the very longest, very deadly organization. Look at some of the artists that actually came out with very good music. Stacey Lattisaw is one artist, one album. She didn't like the industry because it was cutthroat. She stopped. She says, not going to be part of it. The music industry itself is, if you're not the latest and greatest, look at, what's her name from Norman Connors, the lady that did Bitch by Golly Wow.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. And I'm kind of at a loss, but that just tells you that we're not sitting here telling you that we know everything. Yeah. But the other part to that is that the music industry is the ones that are creating the type of music that's out there right now. And it's not about what the artists want to do. As a matter of fact, I'll use Taylor Swift as an example. She had to go back and redo her album. So you can buy the industry version of her album or the Taylor Swift version of her album, because she's getting, she wants to do her own thing, and they don't allow you to do that.
Right.
And to me, that's very scary. That if I'm an artist, I can't do what I want to. So, and that also tells you that maybe that's why we've headed in the direction we've headed, because that's where they've steered us. They want sex, drugs, and all that kind of hoopla in music because they think it sells. Well, what about the people that don't want to hear that? It used to be that you had to search and find the X-rated version of a song. Now, I can't find a clean version of a song. I've almost committed to not DJing anymore because, I play a lot of music for younger kids, and I'm not playing songs with those types of lyrics and those type of things, to kids. It's wrong.
It is wrong because you don't want to mentor the youth of this country with the wrong information, and that's what's the problem with all the music that's being placed out there, the whole attitude that's coming out of teaching in the schools. What's the language that's being used? One of the worst words that's being used, overly abused, is the N-word. Myself, I don't like it. I don't like it. It does not carry any weight to me.
Then you got the B word.
That too.
That's okay to say. It's okay to say the A word. And I'm not filling this in because everybody knows exactly what we're talking about. And then you got, how do you write a love song that's talking about degrading the person you love.
You can't. You can't. You know, love. I mean, you look at Lenny Williams and his music. I mean, everybody knows what Lenny did, coming out of Tower of Power, and "Girl, I Love You."
Well,
What does that say?
it does, and the very essence of lyrics right now is money, power, and God, I'm gonna even throw drugs in there, because all those three things, it's okay. It's what you need to do, you know. And then everybody has their entourage, you know. It's I don't get it, but maybe I'm just too old.
Well, it's the ages that people went through. Look back before us, you know, what people did back before us. That's where rock and roll, the blues, and jazz really came out of the cities and wherever they were developed. You know, the music out of the South, the blues, and everybody, even in Europe, identified with what was happening in America.
R&B artists used to love to go to Europe.
Oh, sure. Jazz artists, they were fully accepted as musicians. That's what made them love being there, because their music was appreciated. Even look at Nina Simone.
Yeah.
She moved out of this country. She actually moved to...
Look at Tina moved to Europe and retired there.
Yep.
Tina Turner.
Yep. Because they were accepted as human beings. That's the good thing. I noticed in Europe, 19 years, I was in a lot of different countries. I saw a lot of different people from all over. Germany is a sanctuary country. So they have people from Italy, Austria, Switzerland, Spain, France, Turkey, everywhere in this one country. And you're around these people all the time. You're English, Irish, Swedish, doesn't matter where they're from, but they're all living together within the scenery of this one country, because they get along. That is, by rule, they're supposed to get along. People who act stupid, well, they get treated as being stupid.
Well, you know, and the United States has that same melting pot. The big difference is it's narrated by big business. You know, you don't think you have all those, you know, you don't see that same melting pot here in the United States?
Well, the people are all here. The people that are in Germany, Germany's a fraction of the size of this country, but they have all the different people from all around the world. Unfortunate circumstance for them allowing people from the Middle East in. It's a totally different culture that is having difficulty assimilating into the German culture. But in America, the biggest thing, positive in a way, is you have a lot of space. This country is so enormous that you can actually be one group here, one group there, and it's just space people around. But do they ever get together? Do they ever have any cohesiveness?
Well, that's a good point. I think that you probably find that in all the cities, you know. But I think, like, as small a town as Junction City is, everybody you just named is right here. But then you look at the fact that Fort Riley's here, and you look at the fact that K-State's right down the road. So you have that melting pot. But and even I remember when I was DJing back in the days, I used to go to this one club in Emporia. It was the Cowboy Palace.
Mm-hmm.
And here I am, a black guy playing country music, and I pulled it off because I played country music.
Mm-hmm.
And I never will forget this. One guy walked up to me and he's drunk and he looked at me, he's like, "Son, this is a country and western bar." I said, "Yes, sir, I know that." He says, "Well, what kind of music you plan on playing?" I said, "Oh, I'll play a lot of western music," because just because he called me out. And he looked at me and said, No, son, no. Country and western is the same thing. I said, "You gotta be kidding me." And so after I played about an hour, he came up to me and he says, "Here." He gave me a beer. I said, "Well, thank you." He says, "And you were just messing with me. You know what you're doing, don't you?" I said, "Yes, sir, I do, or I wouldn't have come here." I said, "Because I take what I do to be professional. And if I couldn't come here and make you guys happy, then I would not have come." And he said, and so after that, man, the beers just kept coming, man. I was getting to the point where I couldn't play anymore, man.
Yeah.
But it was a very unique experience for me. And I did it for probably about 6 weeks to cover a friend of mine. But I don't care what genre it is. I don't care who your crowd is. If you play what they want to hear,
yes,
you're gonna be just fine. And today's music is not DJ'd that way. It's my mix, and and my beat is 112. That's what you're gonna hear for 2 hours straight. Is the beat at 112, and you're gonna hear in a span of 2 hours, you're gonna hear 200 songs.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's ludicrous. Back in the clubs in Germany, going to what you were talking about, the top country DJ in the military club circuit in Germany was Big Dollar. Big Dollar was black. He came in with a bale of hair. He came with a bale of hay. He set up his stage just like he wanted it, and he made money all the time because he took care of the crowd. He took care of what was right for the crowd, and that's everything to do with what a DJ has to do in the crowd.
And that's the big thing here. You have to be in a genre of a city to be paid as a DJ. I made 5 times the amount of money doing a wedding than I would work in a club, and it should have been just the opposite. Because the club has the money to pay you, and you're bankrupting people who are getting married to make up for the fact that the clubs and stuff weren't paying you. It was absolutely ridiculous. I had an advantage in that I was on a club on post, but my other advantage is that I worked at a record store and I could get all my music discounted.
Yes.
And then I was one of the more popular people around town, so whoever was getting married, I would be able to do their wedding, and I was honestly not charging the rates that everybody else was charging. But my point is that it created an environment that was not conducive for DJs because you couldn't afford to do it.
Right. When I got here from Germany back in 1990, first of all, everything was moving from vinyl, I was totally vinyl, to CDs, and I could not justify continuing being a DJ here simply because the hardware upgrade was expensive, and the market was not supporting the investment.
The albums anymore. I was shocked, but I never thought in my lifetime that albums would go away. And then, like you say, then here comes the CDs, okay? And then I started loving it because I could bring so much more music, with me. But now I'm going to tell you, I am absolutely ecstatic. I love the fact that albums have made a comeback.
Yes, definitely. There's nothing like the sound of an album.
I'll tell you, even to today, right now, you can't tell me that if you got a good needle on that turntable and you know how to calibrate your system, that vinyl doesn't sound better than a CD.
Always, no question about it.
And now to even prove that fact, albums are worth 3 times what they were back in the day.
Yeah.
It's your CDs that have no value. They have zero value. Definitely. And now we're in the age of MP3. We went to, from the CDs, we went to MP3s and computers. And then from that, we've gone to streaming. And I don't know how many people don't get this or don't realize it, but streaming music is never, ever yours.
Nope.
You pay for it every month, but stop paying for it. Guess what happens? Your music goes away.
Yep. You lose it. You don't keep it. You don't have that music to
You don't have it anymore. And I don't think people even realize that. Yeah, it's cool to be able to hear whatever song I want to hear on my phone. But what happens when the internet goes down?
Yeah. Everything goes away.
Everything goes away. And even to today, I still have all my albums. I have what I paid for.
Yes.
I can't say that with streaming.
No, definitely not.
Because when it goes away, it goes away.
No. I mean, I do have a desire to have a good turntable and record my vinyl onto my computer so I can make a thumb drive to play in the car that I want to listen to, because radio stations don't exist, unfortunately. They're all pre-programmed jukeboxes.
You can turn the radio on at the same time and hear the same music every time. It's all loops.
It is.
Yeah, you hear the same thing all the time. And then some artists aren't on some radio station platforms.
Right. Right. Well, that goes back to the day too of when music was coming out. A lot of black artists had difficulty being heard, simply because of the prejudice and exclusion from being able to get their music and sound out.
Good point, because everybody's saying things are going back to the way they used to be, and man, that's kind of dreadful, isn't it?
It is. It is.
And I'll be honest with you that AI scares the hell out of me, because like for podcasts, you can't play anybody's music anymore. You either got to make it yourself or buy it. Now that's the one music that you can play for, but it's just a snippet,
right?
And I think that that's very, very scary that a computer has that much control over the music industry.
It is. You go out to the bars where they have karaoke and suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous singing sometimes, but at least people get entertained in that way. But it's not the same as the music industry.
It isn't. And they got this new thing on music now. It's called Stems. Well, Stems can create any karaoke situation you want. I can pick any song from any genre, and then through the stems, I can take out the vocals. And not only can I take out the vocals, I can put in the lyrics too.
Wow.
So, everything's a karaoke song now. And it's just absolutely frightening to me. And I guess for me as a DJ, when I play anymore, it just seems so artificial and commercial, because I can just hit my controller and it'll do everything for me.
Yeah.
So what do you need me for? Well, I'm going to stop here and let you know that we're going to be doing continued episodes, and we're going to call these episodes Spinners. And I want to interview DJs, and we're going to get into depth about we're going to start dissecting Pacific songs and the meanings of those songs. So thank you for listening, and please stay in tune. And my website will be up and running in probably, I don't know, maybe about 6 weeks. But this is just the beginning. And thank you, Brother John.
Thank you.
Look forward to having you come back and
Definitely,
share some of your
definitely.
wisdom and knowledge.
Love it.
Thank you.